Welcome to Law Lagoon, your one-stop hub for the most haunting historical enigmas. Before we plunge into the chilling darkness of 19th century London, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to ensure that you don't miss a single thrilling journey into the past. Now, let's commence our exploration into a time when a shadowy figure lurked, an enigma that to this day sends shivers down our spine. Jack the Ripper. His reign of terror in the East End was brief yet horrific, punctuating the months from August to November of 1888 with fear. The victims, all hailing from the Whitechapel district, met a gruesome end, their lives brutally cut short. The city was held captive not by the sight of this spectre, but by the unseen threat of his existence. Terror seized the city, as the elusive killer left behind nothing but the mutilated bodies of his victims. The Ripper's reign of terror began with his first victim, Mary Ann Nichols. In the bleak early hours of August 31st, 1888, her lifeless body was discovered in the Whitechapel district of London. Her throat was slashed twice and her abdomen mutilated with a depth of violence that was shocking even for the crime-ridden East End. Just a week later, Annie Chapman met a similarly grisly end. The brutality of her murder, coupled with the surgical precision with which her internal organs were removed, sent a chill down the spine of the entire city. The Ripper was not just a murderer, he was a ghoul, a monster that lurked in the shadows. The night of September 30th saw a shocking escalation. Elizabeth Stride and Catherine Eddowes killed within an hour of each other. This night of double murder, known as the double event, showcased the Ripper's audacity. Stride's death was swift, a single cut to the throat. Eddowes, however, was mutilated with the same ferocity that marked the Ripper's earlier victims. The final victim, Mary Jane Kelly, met the most horrifying end of all. On November 9th, in the privacy of her room, the Ripper carried out his most savage attack. Her body was so horrifically disfigured that it was barely recognizable as human. The scene was a testament to the Ripper's increasing brutality and his apparent comfort in committing such atrocities. In the space of just over 2 months, Jack the Ripper had held London in a grip of terror, committing acts of violence so unspeakable that they would sear themselves into the city's collective memory. Then, as suddenly as they had begun, the murders stopped. The shadowy figure that had become Jack the Ripper vanished into the London fog. His gruesome spree ended as abruptly as it had started, leaving behind a city in shock and a mystery that would endure centuries. The search for the Ripper was fraught with challenges and countless suspects emerged. Among them, Montague John Druitt, a barrister with a troubled mind, was at the forefront. His own family suspected him, and his untimely demise shortly after the last murder added fuel to the suspicions. Then we have Aaron Kosminski, a Polish barber whose violent tendencies and mental instability made him a prime suspect. He lived in Whitechapel during the time of the murders and was committed to an asylum shortly after the killings ceased. Francis Tumblety, a flamboyant quack doctor from America, was another intriguing figure. He had a collection of uteruses and a deep-seated hatred for women, making him a suspect in the eyes of many. The police, however, were grappling with their own challenges. The forensic technology of the time was primitive. Blood could be identified, but not its owner. Fingerprints were not yet a tool in criminal investigations. The socio-political climate added to the chaos. Whitechapel was a labyrinth of narrow, dark alleys, a haven for criminals and a nightmare for law enforcement. The police were under-resourced and faced public criticism and political pressure. The suspects were many, and the evidence was sparse. Each lead seemed to dissolve into the foggy London air, leaving the investigators confounded and the public terrified. Despite the best efforts of the investigators, the Ripper's identity remained shrouded in darkness. In the modern age, with advancements in technology, can we finally unmask this phantom of the past? The quest to reveal the identity of Jack the Ripper has not been quelled by the passage of time. Instead, it has been fueled by the dawn of a new era, an era of digital forensics and DNA technology. Recent attempts have sought to decipher this age-old enigma, to draw back the curtain on the notorious figure that once lurked in the shadows of Whitechapel. These endeavours, however, are riddled with controversy and remain inconclusive. DNA evidence, while promising, has been met with skepticism due to the potential for contamination and the passage of over a century. Digital forensics, although a powerful tool, still grapples with the limitations of historical data. While the shadow of the Ripper may never fully recede, the quest for truth continues, reminding us of the enduring human spirit.